Salve a tutti, sono Federico Frusciante da Videodrome in via Magenta 85 a Livorno. Quella che segue sarà una breve chiacchierata che abbiamo rubato a Mick Garris dopo l'intervista a Giodante che ho già pubblicato sul canale. Se non l'avete vista andatela a vedere. Quello che vedete è un resoconto di una chiacchierata più che un'intervista, visto che lo abbiamo rubato per 20 minuti, lui non era lì per rilasciare l'intervista, ha visto la maglietta di Lurida, è rimasto colpito, le abbiamo detto che eravamo di un festival, allora ha voluto fare due chiacchiere con noi. Quindi quello che segue non è una vera e propria intervista, sono parole libere che ho cercato di montare tra una chiacchiera e l'altra di cazzi nostri. Per il resto un ringraziamento a perché Ciro di Dato del Fibili che erano lì con me, un ringraziamento soprattutto a Mick Garris che si è donato a noi per 20 minuti nonostante non dovesse assolutamente rilasciare interviste o parole con qualcuno, quindi che dire di più. Grazie a Mick Garris, guardatevi questo piccolo chiacchierata con Mick senza il traduttore, senza niente, col mio inglese inascoltabile, ma tanto ci siamo capiti, i sottotitoli ci sono, a voi il video, sperando che almeno vi diverta. You have worked with Argento, with Master of Horrors 1 and 2,
yes.
Jennifer and Bells. For me, these two mini episodes is the best work of Argento for the last 20 years.
That's
Yes.
I am a huge Dario Argento fan, as a human being as well as a filmmaker. I love Dario, and his work. I think we gave him stories to choose from. Jennifer was written by Steven Weber, who is the actor who is the lead in Jennifer and was the star of The Shining in my miniseries.
Yes.
And it was based on a 1970s comic from Creepy, from the Creepy magazine. And then Peltz was based on a short story by
with
Yes, and so those were stories and scripts that were done for Dario, and he really responded to them. And he got to do it his way. I don't think Dario has been able to do it entirely his way in a long time because of studios, because of budgets, because of all of that. But Dario had a great time. It was so wonderful watching him work. When he was casting for Jennifer. Jennifer is not a speaking role, but it's a big part. But she's this gorgeous body with a monstrous face. So when he was auditioning, how do you audition for a part like that? They can't read, there's no words. So he's going, okay, act like cat, you know. And it was so great to watch Dario.
Fantastic. Okay, for me, Peltz is a little masterpiece. Best of Jennifer. Peltz is a very...
It's heavy metal film.
Yes, it's metal film.
Yes, it's very,
definitely. It's good, but with elegance.
It's social, it's political.
It's very much about animal. I'm a vegan, so I really like Peltz.
Now, you are a director of cinema and film for TV. Okay. Now is more simple. Make a TV series, make a film for TV. That for
for theaters,
screen. It's for me. It's a bad thing. I love the screen. I love see the movie with people that I don't know. At the time it's strangers speaking with strangers at the end of the movie.
I think that
all the people talk of the Game of Thrones, nothing talk of the marrying the ex-girlfriend of Julian. For me, it's impossible. For me, out of this world.
I think it's because the horror movies that go in the cinemas are the franchises. You know, they're the ones from the studios. They're made for teenagers. They're very much all about marketing and not about... That's why we made Nightmare Cinema and set it in a cinema. It's a haunted, empty, deserted theater for years because cinema is dying in a lot of ways. Unless you want to see superhero movies, that's all that's out there. So this is kind of a love letter to horror movies being seen in a movie theater. it's a metaphor for how it's dying. But we're hoping that people will see this movie as they see it in the festival here, but to see it in a cinema. But I know most people will see it on a TV or an iPad or an iPhone or something like that. But we hope that the experience, like you said, you want to share the experience.
Yes.
Comedy and horror movies are best when you share it.
Yeah. The cinema for me is a collective experience. But when I come to the cinema, after the vision of the movie, I talk with people far from me that love the Queen or Michael Jackson.
But you share an experience in the horror,
and you talk beautiful.
Yeah.
Perché non avrei mai incontrato sta gente se non vita mia. For me, the cinema is the very most important art in this century. But I think that the young people, the teenagers, don't love the cinema. I know, I see into the cinema when we see the movie, the people talks with the phone, play with the game.
They're posting, they're doing all that. But the cinema is our church. It is where we worship.
It's terrible for me.
And we share fears.
It's like entering a church and pissing.
Yeah, it's true.
Non si fa, non si piscia anche ho detto, è stato molto bello.
About your films, about your movie, which is the one you love more?
It's really hard to choose a favorite film because they're like your children. You spend so much time making every one. You know, The Stand took me a year to make from beginning to end.
It's 5 years.
4 parts. 4 parts, 8 hours.
8 hours. Mi pare uscito 8 ore.
Shining.
Yeah, The Shining was 3 parts. That was 6 hours.
6 hours. Da noi che le scoppie uscito 5 ore, non 8.
I don't remember.
Sì, I remember. Okay.
But, you know, all of them are my favorites for various reasons. You know, Critters 2 was my first feature film as a director. Hocus Pocus I wrote, but it reaches so many people who love that from
Critters 2.
Critters 2, yeah. That was my first feature as a director. So I love that because it was an opportunity. The Stand was the most enormous production I've ever done in my life. I hope I never have to work that hard again. But it reached the biggest audience of any TV miniseries in history. And you only do that once in your life if you're lucky. And Sleepwalkers was my first time I worked with Stephen King, so I love that. Riding the Bullet was very, very personal to me because it was about losing members of my family and facing death in a very real way. Masters of Horror was the opportunity to work with all these amazing, amazing people and give them the chance to do it their way, you know. So, you know, I've been lucky enough to be involved in some things that made a difference in media, and I'm humbled by it, but I'm proud of it as well.
Okay. You are a friend of King. Okay.
Who?
He asked for Stephen King when he watched a movie
Dal suo film, dal suo libro.
inspired by his book.
Mm-hmm.
So when King watched your movie, how it was for him and for you?
It was nerve-wracking. It made me very nervous, but it was great. The first one.
He destroyed the Kubrick.
He did not like the Kubrick Shining.
Yes, but the Kubrick Shining is a masterpiece.
It's a great Kubrick film, but it's a bad King adaptation.
Oh yes.
So I loved the book so much, and when I saw the movie when it came out new, I was very disappointed. It took me years to realize it's a great masterpiece by Kubrick, but if you love the book, it's not a great Stephen King adaptation.
Yeah,
So he hated that version, but he wrote the miniseries version that I directed. He wrote the script as well.
Because it's uscita I have your miniseries in DVD with Marquette.
Steven Weber.
Steven Weber is
Rebecca De Mornay.
Rebecca De Mornay. But your version of Shining is much more
faithful to
the book. The children is the very center of the story, not the father.
Right.
This is the much different for me, and not really the time.
Yeah. Well,
6 hours for experience.
Well, the big difference is Stephen King is warm, and Stanley Kubrick is cold. Stephen King is very emotional and human, and Stanley Kubrick is much more schematic and mechanical and cinema, pure cinema. And King is somebody, that his heart is huge, and you can't find Kubrick's heart sometimes.
Okay.
The last question about what?
First, if you want, come with the
next year.
Next year.
Okay.
The Overfest. To Livorno. Livorno is a very nice city on the
very sunny place.
That sounds great.
Around great sea, and great food.
I'm finding food in Lucca too.
But in Livorno,
But I'm a vegan.
You're a vegan?
Yeah.
No fish.
No animal products.
No caciucco.
Not even cheese. Not even cheese.
Not even cheese.
Yeah.
Nothing vegan. No,
I'm flexible.
Okay. The last question is, you now exiting with Nightmare Cinema, and you have directed one of these 5 chapters. The next project of your work?
Well, I just finished a new book a couple weeks ago. I also write books.
Okay.
And just finished that. My podcast, I don't know if you know of Postmortem, where I interview horror directors every other week. We've had really great people on. We've had John Carpenter, and we've had Walter Hill and Roger Corman and all these people. Joe, we're going to record one Saturday with Joe live for the podcast. So that's something I'm doing. We hope there will be a Nightmare Cinema 2 or a TV series based on Nightmare Cinema. I've just written a pilot from a Stephen King story that maybe we'll see if that happens. So I'm always busy.
You're full.
Okay. And I travel to festivals like this, and it's a state of evolution, constant.
Okay, thank you. I'm
My
very
pleasure.
happy.
Great to meet you guys. Thank
Sorry
you so
for
much.
my...
No worries.
I understand, but I don't speak
You
very
did
well.
great. You did great.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you guys.
Nice meet.
Bye.
For sure. Io faccio fare tutta la videonore. She's my wife. But not easier.
Yeah. To Eleanor.
Eleonora, yes.
Ciao, vediamo.
That love sleep with all the Eddie's her heart. Yes.
Nice. Great. Well, now you're going to get lucky tonight.
Yes.